and welcome, and thank you for joining us today on Sharing the Light. We are joined today, as always, by the senior pastor of Sunshine Cathedral, the Reverend Dr. Durrell Watkins, and our focus today on this particular topic is keeping religion new. So, Pastor, what do we mean by keeping religion new? And is new, does it also comply with exciting, refreshing, energizing, or is the new part, let's go ahead and create something completely different than what we know?
Yes.
That's a both and.
It's a both and. History is a wonderful teacher. We want to always build on history, but we never want to be stuck in history. There's this wonderful church, and I have to admit, I like going to it 2 or 3 times a year. I won't say what it is because I don't want to insult anybody, but it's a beautiful little church. It's about 300 years old. It's in New England, and I like to go there when I can. And it's like stepping back into the 18th century, and they use the same liturgy they've used for hundreds of years, and in the same building they've worshipped in for hundreds of years, and it's like a museum. It's like a religious museum, and it's a very I like doing it. And apparently a lot of people like going once or twice or 3 times a year, because in this room that would hold 300 people, there's usually about 60. And so they have made preserving the past their ministry, and who that actually appeals to for weekly worship is a very small number of people. Now, they've been around for hundreds of years. They're well endowed, so they have enough money to sustain themselves. So they have a pastor and they have an organist, and they don't have a mortgage payment, all that sort of stuff. So they're surviving. But this church that used to have 200, and then it had 100, and then it had 90, and now it had 60. One day it may have 40, and then it may have 25. I mean, that's the trend. That if you stay stuck in the past becomes further and further and further removed from where life is actually lived, and so. We want to remember the past, we want to pay tribute to the past, we want to build on the past, but if we worship the past, then we are worshiping something that is gone and irrelevant, and you see that where that happens. So that's an example of that. So we do want to create new things. I mean, when people started putting worship on television, their worship services on television, that was a new thing, and it was necessary. It livened up religion and brought religion to people who otherwise had given up on it or didn't care about it. Well, now television is almost passé because of the internet. Well, people started broadcasting, and we do this, broadcasting their things on the internet. It's much more cost efficient. It's much more flexible with timing, and it can reach even more people because you can click it whenever you want to see it. Right. And so that's a new thing. Well, that's would have seemed like science fiction a few years ago, and heresy not long after that. And now it's what we have to do. It's a new thing. And so the idea that in the antebellum South that the world should not be segregated, what a new concept for them. And yet it was the just thing, and thank God that idea got across. The idea that women could and should be clergy, so new, still hasn't penetrated some denominations, and yet so many churches have been served by brilliant women who answered their call because they were allowed to, and so that was a new thing for a lot of people. The idea that gays and lesbians are made in the image and likeness of God, that they are God's children, they are loved by God, and that their love is sacred. New concept, still new to a lot of people, and yet life-giving for those people who have embraced it. So, yeah, we build on the past. I'm a Bible guy. I love the Bible. The Bible's thousands of years old. Love me some Bible. And yet, to keep that ancient document relevant, you always have to bring the newness of the moment and the experience to it and apply it in those new ways. And that's going to be meaning being innovative. That's going to mean coming up with new images sometimes. That's going to mean coming up with new music. That's going to mean coming up with new worship times, or with people used to worship on the Jewish Sabbath, Christians, and then the Christian worship service time became Sunday. What if what if in the future the Christian worship time is Tuesday evening? That's because of lifestyle or whatever. That just becomes the most convenient way. Well, that may happen. Who knows? And we have to be open to newness. In evolution, the species that survives, not the strongest, not the fastest, but the one that is most adaptive to change. Mm-hmm. And so we hear in the ancient scriptures, behold, I make all things new. And so keeping religion new means keeping it relevant, means keeping it applicable for the new generation, the new day. And that doesn't mean being fatty. I know a lot of people, they just follow and chase every fad. I don't think that's good either. Right. Because fads come and go. And people who are they're always after the next fad, they don't seem to fare very well either. I mean, you have to have a vision, you have to be committed to it, and at the same time, you have to realize that where we are at any given moment is never really good enough. As wonderful as it is, there's somebody else that hasn't found us yet. There's somebody else who needs that message, and to get them that message, we're going to have to say it in one more way, one more time, maybe in one more place. We're going to always have to do things building on the past, but never being stuck in the past, because the future is where it all is, and that's where we're going. And so we've got to keep religion new by continuing to ask new questions. And sadly, religion is often behind science, often behind the social sciences. Often, when the other disciplines discovered, gays are just part of the diversity of life. Religion is hanging on tight. No. We said a long time ago it's bad, and so we have to keep saying it's bad. The church decided that the earth was the center of the universe, and so when scientists realized that it wasn't, the church made itself look very silly and irrelevant by saying, nope, we've decided that it is, and we have to stay by that because that's what we've always said. I look forward to the day, please God, let it happen one day, where religion isn't the last thing to come along, but maybe the first or second thing that's leading the way into forward new discoveries, new movements, new experiences, instead of being the last thing to catch up. I think religion should be, it's a major social institution like family, like economy, like government. And so I think that religion should actually lead the way into new thinking and to living in our constantly renewed world. There are two words you hear a lot in religion, renewal and revival. And revival means to sort of wake back up. That you had consciousness, you lost consciousness, and now you're conscious again. That's what it is to be revived. And so to wake up means to realize, oh look, things have changed and are changing. I want to be part of it. And renewal means to be new again, not the way it always has been, but to be new and then to be new again and new again and new again. So we use words like revival and renewal in religion. I think it's time we take them seriously so that we can be a renewing movement in our world. Behold, I make all things new.
Wow, thank you. That's a lot for keeping religion new. And we want to thank you for joining us in this segment of Sharing the Light as we have been talking about keeping religion new. Thank you for joining us for another great episode of Sharing the Light. Tell your friends about this online ministry, and when you're in Southeast Florida, make sure you worship with us on a Sunday at the 9 a.m., the 10:30 a.m., or the 6 p.m. service. And now for a final word from our senior pastor, the Reverend Dr. Durrell Watkins.
Email me at durrell@sunshinecathedral.net if you have a religious question or if you'd like to subscribe to our daily devotional magazine, Spirit and Truth. We'll send it anywhere in the United States for an annual donation of any size. You can also email us prayer requests, or you can make donations on our website, www.sunshinecathedral.org. You'll also want to check out our great performing arts series, religious education classes, conferences, and other exciting activities. For now, we wish you many blessings on your spiritual journey.
I